Hey there, let me start with something that might catch you off guard. What if I told you the happiness we're all running after isn't really what we think it is? Intriguing, right? Today, we're going to dive into the world of Stoicism. It's a philosophy that turns our standard ideas of joy on their head. As we explore this together, I want you to keep a question in mind. What does true happiness really mean to you? Think about it. Is it a fleeting moment of pleasure, or is it something more enduring, something deeper? Keep this question in your thoughts as we unravel the Stoic secrets to a fulfilling life. If you're finding value in our exploration of these timeless teachings, consider subscribing to the channel. Surprisingly, only 14 of our viewers are currently subscribed. Let's take a moment to ponder a question that might not cross our minds often. What is the true essence of happiness? It seems straightforward, yet it's anything but. We live in a world that often equates happiness with success, possessions, and accolades. But let's pause and consider a different perspective. Once steeped in the wisdom of Stoicism, happiness wasn't found in external achievements or material gains. It was a state of inner peace and contentment. It was about living a life aligned with virtues like wisdom, courage, justice, and self-discipline. Imagine happiness as a tree growing within you, its roots deep in your character and actions, rather than in the fleeting joys of the external world. Now, let's compare this with our everyday pursuit of happiness. It often resembles a relentless chase, doesn't it? The next promotion, the newest gadget, the surge of likes on social media. These are the markers of joy for many. But Stoicism nudges us to break free from this cycle. It encourages us to find joy not in external validation, but in our moral integrity, our resilience in the face of adversity, and the quiet triumphs of doing what's right. This Stoic view of happiness is not about denial of pleasure or the rejection of enjoyment. Instead, it's about understanding that the deepest, most enduring form of happiness comes from within. It's about recognizing that while life's pleasures can bring joy, they are not the sole architects of our happiness. True happiness, according to Stoicism, is a byproduct of a life well lived, a life where virtues are cultivated, and the soul finds harmony in its actions and thoughts. So as we delve deeper into this exploration, I invite you to reflect on this vital question. How much of your happiness is built on external validations, and how much is a reflection of your inner virtues and character? It's an exploration not just of philosophy, but of our very beings in our quest to uncover the authentic joy that lies within. Have you ever had one of those days where, despite everything going wrong around you, you still felt pretty good? Or the opposite, everything was perfect, but you just weren't feeling it? It's interesting, isn't it? How our inner state can shape our experience of happiness, regardless of what's happening outside. Stoicism teaches us exactly this. Happiness is a state of mind. It's not about what we have or what's happening around us. It's about how we choose to perceive and react to the world. This might sound a bit abstract, so let's break it down. Think about a time when you felt genuinely happy, not just excited or momentarily pleased, but deeply content. What was going on inside you? Chances are it wasn't just about external circumstances. It was also about how you were seeing things, how you were processing your world. Stoics argue that we have the power to cultivate this state of mind, this inner happiness regardless of external chaos or calm. It's not about ignoring the bad stuff or pretending everything is great. It's about finding a center of calm and contentment within yourself that external situations can't shake. So here's a thought to ponder. How often do we let external events dictate our happiness? How much power do we give to things outside our control to define our joy? Stoicism invites us to reclaim that power, to find happiness not in the external but in our perception, our responses, and our inner state. It's a challenging but liberating idea, isn't it? Imagine navigating life with this inner resilience, where your happiness isn't at the mercy of the external world, but grounded in your own mind. Now let's delve a bit deeper. Stoicism links happiness, not just to our state of mind, but also to how we live, specifically to living a life of virtue. It's about aligning our actions with our deepest values. The Stoics believe that true happiness comes from a life lived with purpose, integrity, and in harmony with nature and society. When we act in ways that align with our deepest values, there's a sense of rightness, of fulfillment that comes with it. It's like when you make a tough decision that you know deep down is the right thing to do. There's a kind of satisfaction that comes from that. That's the Stoic idea of happiness. It's tied to our moral choices, to living a life of virtue. But of course, life throws its curveballs, doesn't it? We have desires, emotions, things that push and pull us in different directions. And here's where Stoicism offers another powerful insight. The art of controlling desires is not about suppressing or ignoring them, but about understanding them, managing them. It's realizing that while we can't always control what happens to us, we can control how we respond. So how do we do that? How do we manage these desires and emotions that seem to have a mind of their own? Stoicism teaches us to observe them, to understand their nature, and then to make conscious choices about how to respond. It's about not letting immediate desires or fleeting emotions hijack our well-being. I want you to think about a time when you were able to put aside a fleeting desire or manage an intense emotion in a way that aligned with your deeper values. How did that feel? There's a strength in that, isn't there? There's a sense of personal power and integrity. That's the Stoic way. Finding happiness not in external validation or temporary pleasures, but in living a life of virtue, in controlling our desires and emotions to align with our deeper selves. It's a challenging path, no doubt, but one that promises a more authentic, enduring joy. A happiness that's rooted not in the changing tides of circumstance, but in the steady ground of our own character and choices. All right, let's talk about resilience. The Stoics were big on this idea. It's like they knew life was going to throw curveballs, and they wanted us to be ready. Resilience. It's this incredible strength. But it's not just about being tough. It's about adapting, bouncing back, learning from the hard knocks life gives us. Now, how do we build this resilience? Well, the Stoics had some pretty solid advice. It starts with accepting that life is unpredictable. Things won't always go as planned, and that's okay. It's about learning to be comfortable with the uncomfortable. When we accept the unpredictable nature of life, we're less shaken up when things go sideways. But here's the real kicker. Resilience is also about perspective. About seeing challenges not as insurmountable obstacles, but as opportunities to grow, to learn something new about ourselves and the world. Think of a time when you faced a tough situation. Maybe you didn't succeed in the traditional sense, but what did you learn? How did it make you stronger, wiser? Now, in our daily lives, building resilience can start with small steps. It's about gradually stepping out of our comfort zones, trying new things, facing small fears. It's about setting small challenges for ourselves and working through, which maybe it's speaking up in a meeting, tackling a project you've been putting off, or even just taking a different route to work. These small acts of courage, they add up. They make us more adaptable, more resilient. And here's the dance. It's not just good for tough times. It actually contributes to our overall happiness. When we know we can handle life's ups and downs, there's this underlying sense of peace, of confidence. That's the Stoic gift. The understanding that by building resilience, we're not just preparing for life's challenges. We're also nurturing a deeper, more enduring happiness. Let me give you an example. Imagine you've been working on a project, pouring your heart and soul into it, but it doesn't get the recognition you hoped for. It's easy to feel disappointed, even resentful. But here's where Stoic wisdom comes in. It tells us to focus on our effort, on our integrity and the work we've done. rather than external validation. It's about finding joy in the process, in the growth and learning that comes with it, rather than just the outcome. This kind of mindset, this way of managing our desires and emotions, leads to a more authentic joy. It's a joy that's not at the mercy of every external circumstance or fleeting emotion. It's a deeper, more grounded happiness, one that's built on a foundation of self-awareness, wisdom, and a balanced perspective. That's the Stoic way, and it's a powerful path to genuine happiness. We've journeyed together through some profound Stoic insights about happiness, haven't we? It's been quite a ride exploring how this ancient philosophy can resonate so deeply with our modern lives. The Stoics, they really were onto something. They understood that happiness isn't just about chasing pleasures or avoiding pain. It's deeper than that. It's about the state of your mind, your virtues, your resilience, your relationships. It's about the full spectrum of life. What we've uncovered here is not just a list of guidelines, but a way of living. It's about finding joy in the small things. As we step back into our daily lives, let's carry these Stoic lessons with us. Let's try to see happiness not as a destination, but as a path we walk every day, with mindfulness, with integrity, and with an open heart. It's not always going to be easy, but that's the beauty of it. Happiness, the Stoic way, is a work in progress, a masterpiece that we keep painting every day of our lives. So let's ask ourselves, how can we apply these Stoic principles to our lives? How can we make each day a little more meaningful, a little more joyful? Remember, the pursuit of authentic happiness isn't about finding perfection. It's about embracing life with all its complexities and finding joy in the journey itself. And hey, if you found something valuable in our talk today, consider exploring more, maybe even share what you've learned with someone else. Because in the end, spreading joy and wisdom, that's what makes the journey worthwhile.